So the other day, my daughter and I went outside and she wanted to go across the street. So I held her hand and I told her to look both ways, and then we started crossing the street. Well, while we were walking across, she spotted something that she wanted to pick up. And I told her, no, we have to keep walking until we reach the other side. We cannot stop in the middle of the street. She had a fit about that. She threw herself on the ground, and I was trying to explain to her that it's very dangerous and you can't just stop in the middle of the street. Well, she ran away from me like this. And I just kind of followed her at a distance, and at one point she just stopped and just stood there. And I was waiting for a few minutes as she was standing there, and I was like, well, this might take a while. So I went and I sat behind her, maybe about 10 to 15 feet behind her, and just sat there and waited. And every once in a while, she would just turn her head around just a little bit, and I guess to see if I was still there, but she was sulking and pouting and everything. And I just sat there, and I didn't call out to her, but I was just sitting there. And eventually, I kid you not, this probably was about 10 to 15 minutes of her just standing there. She eventually, it sounded like she was sniffling, like she was starting to cry. And I asked her what was wrong, and she turned around and looked at me and was sad. And I said, come here, sweetie. And so she came over to me and I gave her a hug, and then she took my hand and we walked back to our apartment. It really makes me think of how God sees us sometimes as his children. He warns us not to do something because it's dangerous for us or it's bad for us, and he just wants what's good for us. And we whine and complain, throw ourselves on the ground and run away from him crying. And he follows us, and he sits behind us and he waits for us, just waiting until we're ready to turn around and come back to him. I've got to tell you, one of the reasons why I like parenting is because I get to see so much of who God is. As flawed as we are as human beings, I still get to see who God is in parenting and how God sees us as his children, but how he still loves us so immensely regardless of our actions.